season of Formula SDR. A brand new championship lies ahead, presented by Sausage Dodgers Racing. And once again, the grid is stacked with ambition, aggression, and raw racing talent. These drivers have waited months for this moment. New rivalries will ignite, old scores will be settled, and reputations will be forged under the brightest lights. The margins are razor thin, the pressure is immense, and there is absolutely nowhere to hide. Strap yourselves in, because when the lights go out in Formula SDR, this season promises drama, daring, and racing at its very finest. And it all begins at Donington Park, February the 10th. Lights out at 2020. Formula SDR is ready to roll. And if you want a place on the grid, applications are open now on SimGrid. Don't miss it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is another wonderful round with, of course, the Sausage Dodgers. It is round 5, and we're at the Circuito de Jerez. We are racing for the 5th time of asking in the Endurance League, folks. So without any further delay, let's get a look and see what the drivers are up to. But first, let's talk about what we just saw. That's going to be the Formula SDR Championship. Well, we got prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, sponsored by O-Coach. And Noah Osbaldeston sacrificing his time, donating it to the cause. Thank you very much to Noah Osbaldeston and the O-Coach organization. First place will be getting 3 hours of one-to-one coaching. Second prize gets 2 hours of one-on-one coaching. Third prize gets 1 hour of one-to-one coaching. What you're going to get is one-on-one full coaching across all cars and tracks on all platforms, including ACC, R-Factor, Rennsport, and Race Room. Dynamic feedback based on data or driver feeling depending on all factors. Video and data analysis of vision drills and motorsport knowledge based on motor function skills. Warm-up technique and your pre-performance routine. Post-race routine and cool-down with direct feedback based on what the driver needs from personal driver assessment. So if you're still inexperienced with sim racing or looking to become an esports champion, O-Coach will cater to your needs from basics to refining even the smallest of details. Good luck to drivers out there tonight at the Circuito de Jerez, and let's look at some of the drivers out there doing a qualifying run right now. Mark Richards currently topping the charts in P1 for the GTP category right now. That time provisionally being a 1:30.1. Simone Massey in the GT3 category and the AMG number 69. Nice. On board with Mark Richards as he starts his final flying lap, leading down into towards turn 1, Expo 92. You got to cut the track as much as possible towards the inside line, but make sure you use all the runoff on the entry of sector 1 because you're carrying all the speed down to corner number 3, and then you finally decelerate a little bit. Now it's going to be fast and flowy throughout the rest of the track here. Drivers are talking about just lifting a little bit rather than having to really get on the heavy braking zones. So you see Mark Richards here just decelerating a little bit to increase that traction that he's got beneath him. Beautiful run of this lap. Getting to the end of the qualifying session though, I know we've still got about 4 minutes remaining. Alejandro Girardin goes ahead and steals away P1 at the top of the charts. Still on board with Mark Richards, the Sausage Dodger. Let's check out how fast he's going right now. Pushing as hard as he possibly can to the line. It'll be 8/10 back right now, but is he out there looking to improve? Mark Richards gets to the line, and it will be provisional pole for Richards by 12 thousandths of a second as he concludes that run. But Alejandro Girardin is still out on track. Can he do any better? Tobias Benedict comes home in P1 in front of Maurice Schuler in P2. Daniel Moffat in third now. Simone Massey bumped back into fourth position. Simone Massey, I believe, just finishing up their qualifying. Yes, they are. They'll leave Florian Brand out there to improve, but not on this lap, unfortunately, for the 337. Merhan Koderman really late to the practice session, but still able to find a way into the top 10, 137.3 that last lap around. And Florian Brand comes down pit road. This gives us good opportunity to thank our title sponsor tonight. Thank you very much to our title sponsor, Gemini Prestige Vehicle Movers Limited. Thank you very much for all your vehicle moving needs. Go ahead and contact Nick Ewers and check out his Instagram and his Facebook page. Something that we always need to promote is a local business in your area. So go ahead and contact Gemini PVM Limited for all of your needs. Thank you very much for the sponsorship as always. Let's look at the championship standings as well. In the GTP category, Alejandro Girardin with 134 points in front of Mark Richards in P2 with a 120. Sander Blau in third. Thomas Oliviati in fourth. Leslie Simpkins in fifth. Andrew Kenny in sixth. Noah Osbedelston in seventh. Paul Cook in eighth. Jake Andrews in ninth position. Jake Andrews, Oscar Corbett round out your top 10. Louis Fitchner, Vincent Sparinger, Robert Svor, Matt Simpkin, Christian Barker, Joe Pinder, Simone Music, and Johannes Jobsberg round out the 18 participants. Down in 19th, Edwards Kizeks, Daniel Moreno, Finn Caitlin, and then a couple of drivers who have not participated in all of the races. Over to the GT3s right now. It's Joshua Gruning in P1 in front of Maurice Schuler with 121 points. Florian Savecki with 111, tied with Simone Massey in fourth. Stefan Wall in fifth. Kevin Schuler in sixth. Florian Brand in seventh. Toby Toti in eighth. Francisco Cardullo in ninth. Augusto Sicosio rounding out the top 10. Marion Koderman, Mattia Ubertali, Daniel Moffat, Maximin Schultz, Mr. Tim Williams, Noah Kelly Moss, Paolo Manetti, Nick Ewers round out the 18 participants in the GT3 category. Down to 19th, it'll be Luke Sherlock, Remy Lopez dos Santos, Simone Darsh, Mauro Gabbiati, Ben Macy, Anazuka Manel, Andrew Kesserton, Lionel Pilipakakis, Pascal Eckhart, Luca Zincola, and a few others. Vincenzo Stagnito, Will Ewart, and Luke Andrews, Vetislav Maverick, and Chris Carr, rounding out the drivers that have participated. But then we have a few that have not participated in the remainder of the championship. It's been a stacked grid from the word go. The drivers have not let up and have pushed their hearts out non-stop. And this happens. Apologize for the technical delay, folks. Get that fixed right away. In the warm-up period that we have right now, our drivers just getting out and setting laps. Getting their little warm-up on. We'll be right back in just a few moments with your race grid. Don't go anywhere. And we're back, folks. Let's take a look at that starting grid that we have in the GTP category first and foremost. We got 6 GTPs lined up for the Endurance Tour Round 5 at Jerez. It'll be Alejandro Girardin, Mark Richards, Andrew Kenny, Paul Cook, Jonas Joberg, and Louis Fitchner rounding out the participants. Jonas and Louis Fitchner both not putting in times in the GTP category, starting from the back of the field. Check out the GT3 category. Stefan Wall leads the charge with Max Schultz in P2. Murray Scholler, Tobias Benedict, Simone Massey, Daniel Moffat, Florian Savacki, Florian Brand, Francisco Cardullo, Marahan Koterman, Vincenzo Stagnito, Simone Darsh, Nick Ewers, and Mr. Tim Williams, rounding out the 14 GT3s. Hello to Red Fudge. Hello to Michael Phipps. Hello to Sausage Dodgers Racing in the YouTube chat. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for all of your love and support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff, of course. Really helps us out a lot. I want to give a big shout out again to our sponsor, Gemini PVM, the Prestige Vehicle Movers, as the warm-up is concluded. You will see their name pop up throughout the race during our race replays, so make sure you give a big shout out to Gemini PVM. Drivers are gridding up right now, so let's take a look at that starting grid again. Alejandro Girardin next to Mark Richards on that front row, and Andrew Kenny and Paul Cook. Jonas Zoberg in P5 next to Louis Fitchner. And the GT3s, it will be Stefan Wall and Max Schultz. Maurice Schuler, Tobias Benedict, Simone Massey, and Daniel Moffat line the first 6 rows. Florian Savacki next to Florian Brand, a battle of the Germans. Francisco Cardullo and Marahan Koterman. Vincenzo Sagnino and Augusto Sicosio. Simone Darsh, Nick Ewers next to Tim Williams, rounding out the 14 participants tonight. Drivers warming up their tires behind the safety car, and a gap forming between the GTPs and the GT3s, as you do. Gaggle of SDR cars out there tonight. Lining nearly half the grid of the GTPs. It would be great to see an SDR lined podium tonight, but they'll have to chop through the likes of Alejandro Girardin. If that's the case, we haven't even looked at the track details yet. I apologize. Let's get that pulled up on screen. We're at the Circuit de Jerez and El Nieto. Of course, it is a track length of 4.3 kilometers, and we have a couple keys of the race. The S is rhythm, not heroics, and we are about to get racing. Excuse me. And the safety car will peel off as we're into the final sector now. There's the reminder on your screen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Track length of 2.75 miles. It opened in 1985. We're in Andalusia, Spain. Got 13 corners, 8 to the right, 5 to the left. Elevation change of about 98 feet. Primary use is going to be MotoGP, GT racing, and testing, club and national series. And Alejandro Girardin about to control the field here. There goes the safety car. Alejandro Girardin is in control of the grid, but we have to wait for the green lights officially now. We've seen drivers get penalties before. Alejandro Girardin waits for the red lights to go out, and green, green, green. Away we go. Down and towards turn one. It will be a Sausage Dodgers fest as the 420 looks to the outside line on Alejandro Girardin. Going towards turn two, it will be a tiny touch between Mark Richards and Girardin, but it won't hurt anyone's charge. Lewis Fitcher already up 2 positions on the good in the GTP category. Let's check out the battle in the GT3s because it's Stefan Wall leading the charge. Now Simone Massey going wheel to wheel with Wall in the lead of the race, but spins around the number 15 and drags him to the apex of the following corner, and there's just absolute calamity and chaos after that. Florian Savecki makes out like a bandit and escapes up the road with 6 positions gained. Simone Massey still on the charge, and that move is done on Marahan Koderman. Max Schultz and Florian Savecki wheel to wheel. Now, it looks like things have simmered down a little bit. 1:37.1 fast lap from Girardin. Pulls out a 1.1 second gap to the guys behind. Simone Massey still wanting to shake and bake, looking like he wants to get a move done on Tobias Benedict sooner rather than later. This is a very long race. We do have an hour and 15 minutes on the clock. We're just one lap into this. To a 3 set from the GT3 leader on the opening lap. Max Schultz with the 2:04 last time out. Looks to be improving that time by quite a bit this time around, especially now that we don't have to worry about the moving chicanes on track. Chasing down Merhead Cohen and Tim Williams up ahead. Still got good, clean pack battling right now. And this is all about rhythm and flow here. Coderman looking on the move on Tim Williams, but Tim Williams gets the move done on Simone Massey, and Simone Massey tumbles down the order even further than before. 69 worse for wear on this opening stint. 4 positions down off the good from where they started. Oh my goodness, Francisco Cardullo and Simone Darsh going toe-to-toe. Darsh and Cardullo wheel to wheel down the front straightaway, leading down towards corner number 1, the first heavy braking zone. When their tires are fired up, the 44 falls in line. Darsh behind Cardullo. Daniel Moffat gets passed by Marahan Coderman. The battle for 13th and 14th position, but Daniel Moffat snapping back up the inside line. That's Simone Massey in the background in the 69. The 966 carries the inside line, pushing hard and fast. The 69 could help out his German brother, but I don't think he will. I think he's looking for a way through any which way possible at this point in time, but not through an opponent, hopefully. One of the things that always impresses me about these league drivers is their ability to stay close within each other without touching each other. And the Mercedes goes side by side into the backside of the track. 69 on the outside line, the 10 to the inside. That compromises their line. Maurice Schuler finds the daylight and the opportunity to go through. Simone Massey, worse for wear, even worse now, down 5. This might just not be his night, unfortunately. Still this battle of cars, 4-pack battle within 2 seconds of each other right now. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We've still got about 60 minutes of racing left to go on the clock. Mr. Tim Williams charging up the inside of Tobias Benedict. No, excuse me, that's Marahan Coderman now charging up the inside of Mr. Tim Williams. And of course, we do have the driver of Mr. Tim Williams here tonight. See exactly what he is up to, leading this pack in the top 6. Last lap around being a 1:38.9. Coderman looking pretty feisty out there. Last lap around. Any improvement? That's a 9 positions gain for Tim Williams on the charge this evening. A little out of place from where they qualify. Potentially might lose a few positions. We'll have to keep an eye and see if they're going to put up the fight or not. The pirouette of cars coming through the fast and flowy first sector. Absolutely phenomenal and gorgeous stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars all line astern right now. Mr. Tim Williams, the cork in the bottle right now. Oh. Ooh, Vincenzo Stagnito and Tobias Benedict side by side. Augusto Sicosio now chasing down Max Schultz. The battle for P2 and P3 is about to come a little feisty, and a touch in the rumpus there. Spins the Porsche around, but touches him right around. And a little bit of argy-bargy elbows out on the rejoin there. And that'll be the end of Sicosio's night. I do believe the Italian man is out of the race, and that will be it for him. Florian Savecki will lead. Let's go back over to the Tim Williams gaggle right now. Daniel Moffat chops it up and gets past Coderman. Maurice Schuler now third in this battle, or fourth in the line. And this is a battle for fourth, all the way back to 9th place right now. And just up ahead, Vincenzo Stagnito by 1.3 of a second. So able to close down the gap a little bit now. Tim Williams up 11 positions. Unbelievable. Tim Williams now producing personal best laps, but the 10 looks to the inside line, forces the real estate there from the 797. He has to give birth now, compromising both of their runs through the fast and flowy sector. The 797 and the number 10 are going to go side by side through most of this corner. And now it mounts over the curbs and gets a little loose. The groove number 10 loses out ground, and that'll be Maurice Schuler to pick up the pieces on the optimal racing line now, but can't hold on to that outside, trying to get a switchback engaged back to the outside line, looking for another switchback here, can't find the daylight. The number 20 succeeds to the 10 for now, allows him to live for that small mistake that he had made. Gap opens up to 1.9 seconds beyond this train to P3. Vincenzo Stagnito running a little bit more safely than Tim Williams is right now. The 10 looks to the inside line again. Cardullo passes Coderman. back to the end of this train for Coderman into P9. See the laps trickling in on the left-hand side of your screen, letting us know who's going faster. I'll dictate the times to you. Last lap around for Florian Savecki, 137.4, 137. Hold on, 797 and the 10 going side by side just as the 32 shows up, and this is going to allow the 32 to get boxed in the long way around the outside. That's one way to get by Tim Williams, is using that lap traffic to your advantage, and that sure was a way to do it. Now Tim Williams wounded, losing one position to Mofat, now loses another position to Maurice Schuler. Will he lose one to Simone Massey, who's on a huge recovery drive, now back down to only -2 from where they started. So Massey with a big wiggle, and is going to get passed by the 17 into the final corner. And you can see how far back Mark Richards is already. Interval being 4.5 seconds, just finally catching up to the GT3 cars. Now side by side between Massey and the 17. A little bump from the 17 into the 797 of Tim Williams in front. And now the 17 still pushing Tim Williams along, trying to give him a little bit of a hurry up and go, apparently. There to the inside line for the 17. The 797 opens the door for him. Lets him walk right on by. I think Tim Williams not too keen on defending these positions very hard, but just as I say that, goes back on the attack, looks to the inside. He's been attacked here before, lost 2 positions on the previous lap. Won't happen again to Tim Williams. Side by side, the Aston Martin barges the Porsche out of the way. But it'll still be clean racing. Paint scrubbing is fair. Rubbing is racing. Am I right? Now, Massey trying to get by Tim Williams. Here's a third place car of Andrew Kenny charging through the field, and now the 69 uses traffic to come through as well. The 797 tried to close the door, might have been a little too late there. Marahan Coderman on his recovery, or excuse me, on his charge even, because Marahan Coderman is up 1 position now. Simone Massey back to -2 from where they started at the beginning of this race. Check out Lewis Fitchner's run. A 3.5 second gap back to Jonas Zoberg in 6th place, but the gap up ahead between himself and Paul Rocky Cook, or just Paul Cook to those that know him closest. And that number 11 is about to get a little bit dicier because of the traffic ahead. Now, we've seen it breed opportunities in the GT3 category. Will it also breed opportunities in the GTP category? It does, as the 13 really closes down on Paul Cook in the number 11. Whoa, and the 797 nearly takes out Lewis Fitchner in the number 13. Must have got the spotter clear, and Coderman actually through there. on the 797 of Williams, but a big moment for Williams. And he nearly loops it coming out of the final corner. And Coderman up 2 positions now in the 996 Aston Martin. Let's go back over to Fitchner and Paul Cook's chase as they keep on dicing it up through traffic. Fitchner and Cook's lap time. That Fitchner has been putting in the work to catch up to Cook lap after lap. And oh, there is an off. And who is that? That'll be Tobias Benedict in the 774. I don't think that was caused by anybody. It might have just been a solo spin. Traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. Because there goes Soberg, who's caught up to Lewis Fitchner. Just as I was saying, he lost touch with this pack ahead. He's managed to gain some ground, but a couple of the GT3s make it a little bit difficult to catch up. And this lap surely going to be green for Soberg. GT3 battle. Francisco Cardulo leading Maurice Schuler to the inside. Touches the Aston Martin, but gives him a bump in the nose to spin him back around. Schuler still ahead. And that'll be the 69 of Simone Massey, back to where they started at the beginning of this race. Oh, big touch, big wiggle from the Aston Martin. Able to recover, point it in a straight line, and get back to it. That was a code brown moment for Francisco Cardulo, pilot of the 17. Big shout out and thanks to our Patreon subscribers and the meat wall, Andrew Kesterton, Simone Hutchings, and Paul Cook. Gotta also thank our Tier 1 subscribers, Leslie Skipkins, Andrew Kenny, Mark Richards, and Jack McCarthy. Appreciate all the support. You guys help keep the servers going, the sessions on, and the broadcast well fed. In the Tier 2 category, we have Mickey Phipps, Andrew Kesterton, and Simone Hutchings. Oh, Simone Darch, excuse me. And in the Tier 3 category, we have Jack Jacketson. Massey gaining the last 2 laps. But I think in clear air, Schuler is the faster of the 2. That'll actually be a pit stop for Maurice Schuler. And down pit road he goes at the 21-minute mark. Quick 13-second stop for Schuler. And 44-second transient time for him. Spits him out into 10th place. Paul Cook in battle with Joberg ahead. Paul Cook, the stronger of the two by a 10th in Sector 2, but had a weak Sector 1, potentially due to traffic. Let's see if the clear air will help out Cook at all. Chases down for the 4th position. Now, tire wear surely can't be becoming a thing yet. So it looks like Jonas is just sliding a little bit more than Paul is, and through Sector 1, Cook is down a 10th already. So Massey with a very quick 13.6 pit stop for himself. Obviously did not repair any of the damage that they had. Checking out the GT3 Mofat Stagnito battle. Stagnito in P2, Mofat in 3rd. Vincenzo Stagnito with 9 up so far. And Mofat up 3. Machine Gun Baguette asks, which position is Sicosio in? Augusto Sicosio is in P14 in the GT3 category right now, 2 positions down from where he started. But Sicosio has taken a very lengthy pit stop of around 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And I believe that happened from an early incident. I'll see if I can get a replay pulled up. All of our replays are brought to you by Gemini PVM Limited, the Prestige Vehicle Movers. Thank you very much to the support. Let's take a look again at how Augusto Sicosio ended up crashing. Definitely better ways to end a race. Daniel Mofat's best lap around a 137.4 compared to his last lap, a 137.8. But wait till he crosses the line. Let's see if we can get a quick update on Daniel Mofat's last lap time. 137.8 again, so at least very consistent nonetheless. On board with Mofat. Upwards of 280 kilometers per hour before getting towards turn 6 heavy braking zone. Closing down the gap before the apex of a corner. Daniel Mofat looking like the quicker of the pair. Between Stagnito, Mofat, and Cardulo here. Battle for that podium. Daniel Mofat looking large and in charge, carrying a lot of speed into these corners, a little too deep, but still up a 10th through Sector 1 and Sector 2 as well. Francisco Cardulo slowly closing down his gap at a manageable rate. Vincenzo Stagnito is all over the road right now. Kicking up pocket sand every which way we look. Mofat up on that lap and a personal best for him. 0.3 quicker on that lap. Louis Fitchner and Paul Cook now. And Fitchner nearly into the back of Cook into the final corner. Battle for 5th place. And Daniel Mofat still closing down on Stagnito ahead. Cardulo had a gap of 1.5. Now it's floating around 1.4, 1.3 seconds, so it is coming down. And now the calm before the storm, because when the pit stop cycle kicks off, all hell will break loose The drivers will get all mixed up in their standings, but at a circuit like Jerez, I don't think that you want to pit early. It's a very long lap here. The last thing you want to do is run into back markers. Paul Cook comes down pit lane. Out of the battle between himself and Fitchner. Here comes the charging number 10 of Mofat on the number 21 of Stagnito. And there is Mark Richards getting by the remaining GT3s. Bit long of a transient time for Paul Cook. 56 seconds now. Can the 10 follow Mark Richards through? I don't think so. Now GT3 traffic for the GT3 drivers. Cardullo has caught up to Mofat. Now the gap, just 1 second. And Mehran Goderman all the way up into P5. Up 5 positions. And 1 second back from the cars ahead. Mofat again keeps looking like he wants to attack, but perhaps is just fuel saving behind the BMW. Remember, tons of time can be lost and gained in the pit stop cycle. And perhaps this championship will come down to pit stops at the end of the day. .137.5, 137.7 between Stagnito and Mofat. And here is another driver on a big recovery. This is Simone Massey, down 5, but has taken a pit stop. Flashy the headlights to Maurice Schuler, who completely ignores the headlights and keeps on driving the racing line. Fitchner into the pits now. Schuler, Massey, and Darsh all glued to each other in this three-way battle. It looks like Schuler's at the inside of the 44 and gives him the scare of his life. The 44 dives out of the way. Darsh wanted nothing to do with that dive bomb. Marianne Coderman into the pits from the GT3 category. Pits out from, I believe that was 5th place for him. .5-second gap has formed for the GTP category. Alejandro Girardin leads over Mark Richards in the number 420. A 7.2-second gap or 7.9-second gap exists between Mark Richards and Kenny. That'll round up the top 3 in the GTP category. Jonas Zoberg in 4th. Paul Cook in 5th and Lewis Fitchner in 6th. And it looks like Paul Cook and Fitchner are the only 2 drivers to have taken their pit stop so far. Ooh, and a big off there. Lewis Fitchner. And no major gaps yet. Back over to Vincenzo Stagnito and Daniel Moffat. Pit stop cycle should be open now. For some reason, the game is advising Paul Cook to take 4 laps on a set of wet tires. Very interesting. Same with Lewis Fitchner. We did see some rain come at us during the Porsche Challenge. That was exciting. Rain only lasted for a short duration and then subsided, forcing the drivers either onto a second pit stop or to drive on big old balloon inflated medium wet tires. Still, Daniel Moffat in control of P3 right now. Cardullo not really in attacking range at this point in time of asking. Still out on track for now. Lap 27 under our belt for the GTP category. Lap 25 completed for the GT3 category. I believe that Simone Massey may have taken tires. The 17.5 pit stop. Possibly. Schuler pulls out a gap on Simone Massey with the help of traffic from the number 32, and there might be a touch between the GTP and the GT3, but no, narrowly avoiding disaster. A look to the inside line now, potentially going in towards turn one, but no. 69 of Massey holds back. Gap down to 0.3 of a second here, but also down to 0.4 of a second between Maurice Schuler and Stefan Wall. Daniel Moffat and Vincenzo Stagnito separated by 0.6 of a second in the traffic. Helps Francisco Cardulo catch up. He was the faster of the three on that last lap around. Francisco Cardulo putting in the work and trying to find himself on a podium potentially. Mark Richards comes down into the pits. The first of the GTP leaders to decide to come down pit road, but looks like he's splitting this one down the middle right at the halfway point. Tobias Benedict into the pits. Out from 11th position. Traffic breeds opportunities for the GT3s. Now GT3 traffic will breed opportunities for the GT3s as well. Here's Nick Ewers. A little flashy of the headlights, let them know that they were on the hard charge forward. Alejandro Girardin into the pits as well. That promotes Andrew Kenny into the lead of the GTPs now. And Mark Richards in P3. Daniel Moffat, Francisco Cardulo, all in line with each other. We're going to have to switch over to this battle here because it's getting a little bit spicier. Oh, there's a run from Cardulo to the outside line, but no, that's because Daniel Moffat pits out from it. This is Daniel Moffat's pit stop. Tim William and Stefan Wall both drive by Daniel Moffat. Now, I wonder where Daniel Moffat will come out at the end of the day, because Stagnito and Cardulo both have the pit still. Presumably the GT3s can go about another 6 minutes or so before they should come down into the pits. Tim Williams under attack. Stefan Wall looks to the inside into the penultimate corner, makes the move into the final one, but Tim Williams is there to try to cut back down the front straightaway. They're going to be running alongside each other. Going towards turn one, Tim has the optimal line, but it will be Stefan Wall up into fourth position. Simone Massey keeping an eye on the timing tower. Only 3/10 back from Moffat, who was in that battle for P2 and P3 at the time before the pit stop cycle. Does that mean that Simone Massey also could be in a battle for the top 5? Just 25 minutes remaining on the clock. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled to find out. Oh, and a big spin from the number 13. That's Louis Fitchner warping away. Andrew Kenny finally pits, and Massey to the inside door of the 10. Parks it on the apex, and now the GTP able to get through. There's a late move from the 69. That was a 7.5 on Daniel Moffat, but he made it end up working without any contact and Is that Kenny still in the pits? No, he's finally out. 52-second transient, 21-second pit service time, so about on par with the rest of the field. It'll be a Sausage Daughters 2-3 as it stands. Zoberg into the pits. Fischner on his way out. Oh, excuse me, Fischner out of the race after that spin that they had. Now the question is Massey actually faster than Moffat? The timing tower and the stopwatch do not lie. It looks like Massey is faster on that last lap than Moffat. Gap is tremendous in the GTP category. 23 seconds between Alejandro Girardin and the 420 of Mark Richards. Alejandro Girardin is on another planet right now. Andrew Kenny in P3, Paul Cook in 4th, and Jonas Zoberg in 5th. Maurice Schuler, 3.2 up the road. Can Massey catch up? All drivers on their pit stop here, except for Tim Williams. Let's take a look at those pit stops now. So full pit stop for the GTPs, but the GT3s still need to cycle in. Here we're looking at Mark Richards in the 420, chopping it up through lap traffic. Now the run towards 1. I don't think he'll get by. I believe that'll be Maurice Schuler. One of the complications about racing at Jerez in a multi-class fashion is that there aren't a lot of passing opportunities for the GTPs and the GT3s to negotiate them together. As we just saw, it looked like Mark Richards was stuck behind Maurice Schuler just about the entire sector before able to get that move done. Cardulo coming in with Stagnito, gives Stagnito a bump in the rear end on pit row entry. And both drivers hitting their marks. Jardin pulls out a last lap, fast lap, 1:29.01. Florian Savecki, Stefan Wall, P1, P2 right now in the GT3s. And go, go, go. Stagnito and Cardulo just as close as they enter, they leave pit lane. Simone Massey promoted back up into P5, Daniel Moffat into 6th. And I believe that leaves Mr. Tim Williams and Florian Savecki, the last to take their pit stops in the GT3 category. Florian Savecki decides to come down pit road just now. There goes Cardulo trying to challenge Stagnito. And Cardulo to the inside. Stagnito's a little too deep right there, and the Aston Martin is through. Little kick up of pocket sand from the Aston Martin. A little squirrely. And there goes Williams as well into pit lane. The run leading down in towards 1 is good for the 17, but Stagnito wants P3. At least that's the position he was fighting for. Now, the battle for P5 and P6 between Daniel Moffat and Francisco Cardulo here. And Massey is long checked out. Simone Darsh into the pits, and that is the last GT3 driver to come down into the pits. And Stefan Wall into the pits. Is that the second time? That is the second time for Stefan Wall. Not sure if they had a penalty. Not seeing a black flag. I am seeing one for Simone Darsh currently, but not for Stefan Wall. That will be their second of the evening. Merhad Coderman checks into the fight with Stagnito, and holy Toledo. Almost like he's driving a GTP, got by Stagnito there. Just 13 minutes remaining in this session, and holy smokes, who is that? In the 44, that might be Simone. It is Simone Darsh into the wall. Just trying to check up on the incidents to see if anything happened to Stefan Wall, but I'm not seeing anything to cause that second pit stop, but doesn't mean that he wasn't hit with a penalty for potentially track limits. Vincenzo Stagnito into the pits. And definitely no incident for Stagnito. So that will unleash a lot of cars further up the road. Big gains right now. That early incident really shook up the order by a ton in the GT3 category. Florian Savecki up 6, Maurice Schuler only up the 1. Simone Massey, recovery drive of the week potentially. All the way down into, I believe, P16 at one point. Overall, P11 in class. Climbed back up into a podium. Up 2. Damon Moffat's up 2. Francisco Cardulo and Coderman up 4. Stefan Wall down 6 with the second pit stop. And Tim Williams up about 7. It's an amazing recovery drive from Simone Massey tonight. Involved in a ton of incidents and crashes. Somehow able to recover. And 10 minutes remaining on the clock now. I believe that was Paul Cook getting lapped in the GTPs, leaving Kenny Richards and Girardin on the only lead lap. Oh, and Nick Ewers' nose is caved in on the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. Alessandro Girardin putting in 129s through the traffic even. just 7 minutes remaining in this event. And round 5 will be completed here at Jerez. And we'll be on to our next venue. The Endurance Tour we headed to Road America next on February 12th, and then we'll be finishing things off at the Autódromo Jose Carlos Pace, Monza, and then the Miami International Autodrome. A very interesting mix of things to finish things out, and then obviously going to a mixed permanent street course for the finale, akin to Long Beach finale. Would be quite exciting. Very much looking forward to the remaining runs of this championship, as the GT3s are all very close in the championship standings. As we have a quick moment, folks, in the remaining stages of this race, why don't we take a moment? Oh, we don't have a moment because Coderman is closing down the gap on Francisco Cardullo here. Now, Coderman, about 0.8 of a second quicker on that previous lap than Cardullo. But we all know the infamous saying, catching is one thing, passing is a whole nother ball game. Can Cardullo be caught and passed? Coderman within half a second now. Mofat catches back up to Massey. In goes deep. The Aston Martin on Aston Martin into the final corner, but trying to get a run towards the first corner. Coderman using the slipstream to their advantage. Late on the brakes, turning in towards corner number 1. Again, taking an alternate line on entry. On board with Coderman. Quick dummy sell to the inside line from Coderman. Going into the final corner now. This might be the penultimate opportunity for Koderman to get around Cardullo. A little bit closer, but not close enough. Almost identical lap that last time around. Again, looking for the daylight anywhere. Trying to find the kink in the armor. Driving Eagle Machinery knows exactly what to expect, but the setups can be slightly different. Sparks flying out from the Aston Martin in front. Traffic of Mark Richards coming through. I'm not sure, will we get a bonus lap? We will get a bonus lap now, as Alejandro Girardin just crossed the line. So this duo here will get one more time to battle it out. Will be the white flag waving this time around for all of the drivers. Koderman and Cardullo 3/10 apart. Same with Benedict and Williams in the battle for 8th and 9th. As this battle rages on, we have to give our due time to Alessandro Girardin, who has taken us from green to checkered flag in the lead of the race. Alejandro Girardin has done an amazing job this entire time at Circuit de Jerez. The driver from Italy in the number 32 Ferrari will take the win in front of Mark Richards and Andrew Kenny in P2 and P3. Paul Cook in P4 and Jonas Zoberg in P5. Let's go back over to the battle between Francisco Cardullo and Merhan Koderman. Florian Savecki crosses the line in the GT3s to take the win with Maurice Schuler in P2. Simone Massey in P3, chased down by Daniel Moffat for P4. Francisco Cardullo and Koderman drag it out to the line for P5 and P6. Seven Wall brings it home in P7. Tobias Benedict in 8th. Tim Williams in 9th. Stagnito in 10th. Simone Darsh in 11th. Nick Ewers in 12th. Fitchner in 18th, Schultz, Sicosio, and Brand to round out the 21 participants. We'll get the results posted here in just a few moments' time, but stand by for driver interviews, folks, because that's coming up in just a few moments. Here are your race results. It was Alejandro Girardin taking the win by 39 seconds in front of Mark Richards in P2, Andrew Kenny in P3, Paul Cook in 4th, Jonas Zoberg in 5th, Louis Fitchner in 6th. In the GT3 category, it'll be Florian Savecki in the win. Maurice Schuler in P2, Simone Massey with a climb back into P3, Daniel Moffat in 4th, Francisco Cardullo in 5th. Merhan Koderman in 6th, Stefan Wall, Tobias Benedict, Tim Williams, and Vincenzo Stagnito round out your top 10. Simon Darsh, Nick Ewers, Max Schultz, Augusto Sicosio, and Florian Brand will round out the 15 drivers there. Stand by, folks. We'll be right back, and we'll get drivers ready for their interviews. Don't go anywhere. And I'm here with Florian Savecki, the winner in the GT3 categories. Florian, talk to us about how you made up 7 positions tonight. Hold on 1 second. You're not coming through on Discord. Let me fix that. For sure. Great shout out to make. Thank you so much for everything. Do you have anybody that you'd like to shout out or anybody that you'd like to thank? For sure. Cheers to Stefan Wall and happy birthday to him as well. Unfortunately, had to take a second pit stop tonight. But Florian, thank you very much for joining us here for the Sausage Dodgers Racing League. Really appreciate your love and support, and we hope to see you out there next week.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. Have a nice evening.
Take care of you as well. And
You
let's
too.
see if anybody else is going to join us for an interview tonight. I don't think Alejandro Girardin will join us, but we'll give him a few moments as we go ahead and look at him very briefly. Why don't we take a look at our promo for our Sausage Dodgers Formula League or Formula SDR that's coming up. Come take a look, folks.
Hello and welcome back to another season of Formula SDR. A brand new championship lies ahead, presented by Sausage Dodgers Racing. And once again, the grid is stacked with ambition, aggression, and raw racing talent. These drivers have waited months for this moment. New rivalries will ignite, old scores will be settled, and reputations will be forged under the brightest lights. The margins are razor thin, the pressure is immense, and there is absolutely nowhere to hide. Strap yourselves in, because when the lights go out in Formula SDR, this season promises drama, daring, and racing at its very finest. And it all begins at Donington Park, February the 10th. Lights out at 2020. Formula SDR is ready to roll. And if you want a place on the grid, applications are open now on SimGrid. Don't miss it.
And that will do it for us here tonight, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to be your host. As always, I'm Sagar Bakshi, aka The Real High. Take you from green to checkered flag, just like Alessandro Girardin did tonight, leading us in the GTP field and in the GTP championship as well. Thank you very much to all of our Patreon subscribers and, of course, our title sponsor, Gemini Prestige Vehicle Movers Limited. Thank you very much to Nick Yours for the sponsorship of this endurance league. And if you would like to sponsor the Sausage Dodgers League or a championship series, go ahead and message one of the admins. You can get yourself some airtime and advertisement for your small business or community. Whatever organization you're willing to promote or looking to promote, you can sponsor as little as one race or as many as an entire championship season. Talk to the admins about details and more. Again, thank you very much to our sponsor, O-Coach, for the SDR Championship coming up for the Formula Series. Looking forward to that starting up very soon, and where the drivers can win 3 prizes in coaching variety, 3 hours going to P1, 2 hours for P2, and 1 hour for P3. And that'll be hosted by Noah Osbadelston, one of the Sausage Dodgers themselves. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful night. And as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Came in and you're looking like a sign of grace. I know, but I can never match your name or face. My fault, I didn't notice it was out of place. You painted fairy tales on the wall. Calling to the better of the halves of me. Please show me just a little bit of honesty. I'd hope I got a heart that I can salvage, but it's getting harder now to recall.